Welcome to another episode of Cloud My Coffee from Engine Yard, our monthly feature where we talk to someone from Engine Yard. And this month we're going to be featuring community engineer Davey Shafik. Davey, tell us about the community. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a PHP developer. I've been a PHP developer for about 15 years. I'm responsible for one major core feature, which is the PHP archive feature, which enables things like Composer and PHP unit to be distributed as single files. I speak at conferences. I've written a couple books, and that's me in a nutshell.
Cool. Now you're part of the community team, and what is the community team all about? Pretend I don't know.
So the community team is an effort that we started about 2 years ago. And the idea behind the community team is to create a space, a team of people who are responsible for reaching out to the communities that we serve and that we utilize. So the teams that we, pull tools from and people from.
Ah, right on. And why is that so important to Engine Yard, do you think?
Well, I mean, Engine Yard is built on open source. Like our stack is open source. We serve open source. Open source is really kind of just who we are and what we do. We've sponsored a ton of open source projects in the past. We continue to sponsor a few open source projects like Composer. And that's all built around and by the community. So it's critical for us.
All right. And I mean, we've talked a lot about community in general, but how can people out there, like say someone's not sure, how could they get involved in their local communities?
So the number one thing that I usually tell people who are looking to get involved in the communities is user groups. Go on meetup.com, throw in your zip code, your postal code, and find what's local to you. And typically you'll find, one in your primary, language or something, Ruby, PHP, Node.js. If not, look for, slightly different ones. Like if you're a PHP person, look for a WordPress user group. You'll probably find that they're covering a lot of stuff that's still relevant to you, even if you're not a WordPress user. And yeah, so user groups is absolutely number one. And then, start looking at regional conferences and things like that. And then of course there's online community on top of that.
Cool. Yeah. I think I usually tell people the online community is the first step, just because it gets them familiar with some folks who might know the better meetups or the better conferences to head to.
Right.
Now you personally, you're involved in a lot of things. You mentioned you wrote a couple books and you do PHP. Outside of PHP, like what projects do you like to get involved in?
So I'm involved sort of on the periphery of a lot of different projects. For example, Zen Framework 2. I was involved in Zen Framework 1 as well. That's kind of where I hang my hat as far as frameworks go. And just like little contributions here and there. I have contributions to some JavaScript projects and some Python projects as well as PHP stuff. But mostly it's kind of just small stuff in the PHP space.
Oh, cool. So little knickknacks here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much time to spend like a lot of time on any given project. So kind of as I find bugs, I fork it on GitHub and submit a pull request. Try to be a good open source citizen.
Very cool. And you mentioned that you speak a lot. What are some of the upcoming events that people might be able to find you at?
So I'm headed to Dallas on the 14th of April, and I'll be speaking at the Dallas PHP user group, and then a couple days later, I will be speaking at the Lone Star PHP conference, which happens to be my favorite conference of the year. And then in May, I'll be headed off to Italy for PHP Day and to Chicago for PHP Tech.
Very cool. So it sounds like you've got a lot of places to go, and there's lots of places people can find you.
Yes, absolutely. And then they can also find me online, of course, on Twitter. So,
all right, very cool, Davey. Thank you very much for your time. And hopefully we'll see you somewhere on the road, and everybody else will see you online.